Welcome. Xander Holt here, the primal sex expert. And today I'm going to talk about one of the top male superfoods, eggs. Eggs are fantastic for your male sexual performance for several reasons. One of which is that they contain all of the essential nutrients that we've talked about for testosterone. Contains vitamin D3 and K2. Contains magnesium, contains zinc, contains selenium, and contains cholesterol. And testosterone is made from cholesterol. So you get all of that in this amazing superfood. But not all eggs are created equal. Not by a long shot. You're going to find when you go to the grocery store, there's a variety types of eggs. The one that you want to look for is pasture raised. Everything else is substandard. Now these are conventional eggs here. You definitely want to avoid conventional eggs and conventional poultry. At least in the United States, the conventional poultry market in the United States is one of the least regulated, and they treat those animals horribly. Hardly any of them see the light of day. They get pumped with antibiotics, hormones, all that stuff that you're ingesting. They've got way more estrogen because they're fed all this grain that they shouldn't be fed, that's loaded with pesticides themselves. I mean, I would just avoid poultry unless you're going to get some pasture-raised poultry or pasture-raised eggs, because these are just not good for you. But there's other types of eggs. There's cage-free, there's free-range. I wouldn't worry about those either, because while they're better, they're misleading. It's a marketing ploy, right? Cage-free means they can run free inside a warehouse, not outside. In free range, a lot of those chickens never see the light of day either. They can go outside, but it's a very small area. It's really not much of anything. You want pasture-raised. But there's different qualities of pasture-raised eggs. And what I recommend you do, because you're going to see a lot of price differential too, is that you buy a couple of dozen at a time and you compare them side to side when you cook them. And I'm about to do that for you here so you can see the difference. Because just because something's pasture-raised doesn't mean that it's as high a quality. So let's take a look at that, and I'll talk a little bit more about eggs as we're cooking them. All right, I've got my pan heated up here. I'm going to put in some grass-fed butter. Okay, I'm going to start with that, and I'm going to put it in my pan. Now, I do not recommend using a non-stick pan. It's got stuff in there that is really, really bad for your manhood that I will talk about in a separate video. This is a carbonized steel pan, or you can use cast iron, or you can use stainless steel. Any of those would work. And get it nice and buttery. And what I'm going to start with here is a conventional egg. So there's our conventional egg. It's from Kroger. And let's put it in right over here. Okay, it's got a very thin shell. You'll notice conventional eggs have thin shells, which is showing it's not very healthy. And then I'm going to put in it's also a Kroger brand, but this is the Kroger Pasture Raised. They're a Simple Truth brand. I'm going to put it in right over here. Now I'm hoping this will work with the camera. It's very obvious when you see it yourself, but the yolks here are not really a dark yellow. They're kind of a light yellow, each one, so they're very similar in their colorings. Okay, but this is definitely a more superior egg, the pasture raised. You definitely want that instead. But now I'm going to put in one of the Vital Farms pasture raised eggs. Okay, and I hope the camera can pick up the difference, but this Vital Farm egg is way deeper in color. Much richer, much deeper. It's almost an orange instead of a yellow. And that's what you want to look at. And you don't necessarily have to go with Vital Farms. I've done some experimentation, and I think they have the best from what I've found. And they're not too expensive compared to the others. But, like I was saying before, just buy yourself a couple of dozen eggs and just compare them. Go side by side until you find the pasture-raised eggs that you like best for you. Now, keep in mind, too, I know there's a lot of vegans out there. You do not have to have eggs to go through the Rock Hard for Life formula. You can be a vegan and get lots of benefit. It doesn't matter what kind of diet you're on. You can get lots of benefit. We can work around that. But eggs are, if you're not a vegan, even if you're vegetarian, eggs are just a fantastic source for your manhood, what I talked about before. And the best way to cook your eggs is to make sure that the yolks stay runny. So you can do what I'm doing here. You can cook it sunny side up, or you can flip it over real quick for just an easy over kind of egg, or you could do a soft boiled egg or a poached egg. But when you keep the yolk runny, that's where most of the nutrition is. So you keep the vitamins intact and you keep the cholesterol intact. The vitamins, the minerals, and the cholesterol, what you really want. And when it comes to animal foods, I mean, outside of oysters, eggs and organ meats have the most amount of nutrition in them. They're really packed with nutrition, and it's particularly in the yolk. All right, that's it for today's video. I hope you found a lot of good value out of this. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel, like this video, share it with friends that you know that would benefit from it. And if you're a guy, go to our free Facebook group, Rock Hard for Life, where you'll learn extensively about primal sex, lasting as long as you want, and getting natural, stage 4, consistent, rock hard erections for life. Until next time, go be a beast.